Strong men don't fear silence. Insecure people do, because silence reveals things people spend years trying to hide. It reveals discomfort, neediness, fear of rejection, fear of being forgotten, and most people never realize how much of their personality is actually built around avoiding those feelings. That's why some people cannot sit quietly in a room without reaching for their phone, why they constantly refresh notifications, why they speak too much during conversations, why they feel anxious when nobody reacts to them. Modern life rewards noise. The loudest opinions get attention. The most dramatic emotions get sympathy. The people who constantly themselves online appear more important than they actually are. But attention is not the same thing as strength. A man who constantly needs to be seen usually has not learned how to be comfortable alone. And loneliness changes people in strange ways. Not loud loneliness, quiet loneliness. The kind that happens in crowded offices, in long relationships, group chats full of people who barely care about each other anymore. You can see it in exhausted men who stop talking halfway through explaining themselves because they already know nobody is truly listening. So eventually, they become quieter. Not because they have nothing to say, but because experience teaches them something painful. Not every room deserves your energy. Strong men understand this earlier than others. That's why they become more selective with words as they grow older. When they are young, they often try to explain themselves too much. They defend their intentions. They argue unnecessarily. They chase understanding from people who were never interested in understanding them in the first place. But life slowly removes that habit, especially after betrayal, especially after disrespect, especially after realizing how many conversations are actually competitions disguised as communication. Some people do not listen to understand you. They listen to protect their ego, and silence becomes powerful. The moment you realize you no longer need to participate in every emotional battle people invite you into. Weak people think silence means defeat. Strong people know silence can mean control. Because emotionally mature people understand something important. Not every reaction deserves expression. That is why calm people often intimidate insecure personalities. An insecure person depends on emotional movement. They need visible reactions to feel psychologically safe. So when someone remains calm, observant, emotionally controlled, it creates tension, especially in workplaces. You see this dynamic constantly inside offices. The employee who talks the most in meetings is not always the most competent. Sometimes, simply are trying to protect visibility. Meanwhile, the quiet employee often makes people nervous because calm competence is difficult to read. Managers become uncomfortable when someone does excellent work without constantly seeking approval. Coworkers become suspicious when someone avoids gossip. People project things onto silence, confidence, arrogance, disrespect, emotional distance, because silence forces others to interpret you themselves, and insecure people usually interpret silence through their own fears. That is why emotionally disciplined men are often misunderstood. People assume they are cold when they are simply careful. People assume they are detached when they are simply exhausted from fake emotional performances. Because after a certain point in adulthood, many men stop talking not out of pride, but out of disappointment. Disappointment changes communication. A younger man still believes honesty automatically creates connection. An older man learns that honesty in the wrong environment becomes vulnerability. People exploit. So he studies people first. He watches behavior, consistency, respect, and he learned that silence reveals more about others than constant conversation ever will. Silence makes insecure people expose themselves. Some become defensive. Some overshare. Some become aggressive. Some cannot tolerate not being emotionally centered. You notice how quickly people reveal their emotional stability when the room becomes quiet. The secure person relaxes. The insecure person performs. And modern culture quietly encourages performance addiction. Everyone is expected to constantly react, constantly post, constantly explain opinions, constantly prove value. Stillness almost feels illegal now, which is why emotionally grounded people stand out immediately. Not because they are louder, but because they are harder to emotionally manipulate. Silence gives a man emotional distance, and emotional distance creates clarity. You begin noticing who only contacts you when they need validation, who becomes uncomfortable when you stop chasing them, who loses interest the moment you stop entertaining their ego. Silence exposes transactional relationships very quickly because many connections survive only through emotional maintenance. The moment you stop over-explaining, stop proving, stop performing, people reveal whether they valued you or merely the emotional service you provided them. That realization changes a man deeply, especially the men who spent years being emotionally available for everyone else. The reliable friend, the calm boyfriend, the responsible employee, the emotionally controlled son. People become dependent on men like this, not because they understand them, but because emotionally stable people often carry the emotional weight of entire environments, quietly, without recognition, without appreciation, and eventually exhaustion appears. Not physical exhaustion, psychological exhaustion, the kind where a man slowly withdraws from unnecessary conversations because he no longer has energy for artificial connection. And people misread this stage constantly. They think the quiet man became arrogant, but often he simply became aware of how draining modern social interaction can become, aware of how many people only listen when your words entertain them, aware that peace becomes addictive after years of emotional chaos. That is another reason strong men value silence. Silence protects energy. Not every opinion deserves response. Not every accusation deserves defense. Not every misunderstanding deserves correction. Emotionally intelligent men learn to conserve emotional energy the same way disciplined people conserve time. because peace becomes more valuable with age. And strangely, insecure people often resent peaceful individuals because calmness reminds them of the emotional stability they do not yet possess. A secure man does not need constant dominance displays. He does not need to interrupt everyone. He does not need to win every argument. He does not need attention from every room. His identity is not dependent on external noise. And that level of emotional independence is rare now, especially in a world addicted to visibility. Some of the strongest men become almost invisible socially. Not unsuccessful, not weak, just private, selective, controlled. They stop announcing every plan, stop explaining every decision, stop seeking emotional permission from others, because maturity teaches something difficult. Most people do not truly care about your inner world as much as you think they do, and accepting that reality actually creates freedom. You stop performing. You stop begging for understanding. You stop exhausting yourself, trying to emotionally translate your value to people committed to misunderstanding you. And the silence that once felt lonely starts feeling peaceful. That is the difference. For insecure people, silence feels empty. For strong people, silence feels stable. It becomes a place where they can think clearly again. A place without pressure, without performance, without emotional competition, just clarity. And maybe that is why strong men become quieter over time. Not because life made them emotionless, but because life taught them how much unnecessary noise most people carry inside themselves. So they choose calm instead. Not dramatic calm, not fake alpha male silence, just emotional discipline. The kind built through disappointment, responsibility, loneliness, observation. The kind of silence that no longer feels uncomfortable. Because when a man truly knows himself, he no longer needs constant noise to prove he exists.